Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today I am doing another Blu-ray review of one of the Blu-rays I own. And today I'm doing Batman Begins. Came out in 2005. Directed by Christopher Nolan. Co-written by Christopher Nolan and David Goyer. Batman character originally created by Bob Kane. This stars Christian Bale as Batman slash Bruce Wayne. You got Katie Holmes, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Morgan Freeman, Cillian Murphy, Gary Oldman, and Tom Wilkinson. I mean, just an awesome cast. I mean, one of the greatest casts put in a superhero movie. It seems like up until you get all the MCU movies, Avenger movies that combine so many superheroes. But that was a pretty good cast, especially at that time. All solid performances. It was nominated for one Oscar for Best Cinematography. And the synopsis of this is kind of an origin story of Bruce Wayne slash how he becomes Batman. Of course, it goes a little bit into his parents, of course, getting murdered. Classic, story everybody knows about. His parents get murdered. He's also afraid of bats because he falls down a well and bats scare him. But then when he gets older, he ends up going away, trying to get into the criminal underworld to kind of understand the criminal underworld. Eventually, he wants to fight crime, I think. But he ends up meeting a guy named Ducard who kind of recruits him to be part of the Ra's al Ghul kind of ninja gang group. And so he gets trained by Ducard, like he's up in like the mountains of, I want to say, of Asia, somewhere like Nepal or something. And he gets kind of trained as this like secret ninja who great fighting skills and also knows how to be stealthy and not be seen. Well, he ends up. They want to kind of go into Gotham and kind of take over Gotham and like kind of destroy the city within because there's so much crime in Gotham. He disagrees with them, of course. They have a big fight. Uh, he ends up, of course, escaping. Goes back to the United States, back to Wayne Manor. Everybody thinks he's dead. He comes back. He's alive. He comes back to his company, Wayne Enterprises. Um, and there's a section in Wayne Enterprises that just deals with technology that they've kind of built prototypes for the military, and that's headed by Lucius, played by Morgan Freeman. And so he gets into all these new technology, weaponized technology, and kind of comes up with a way to use them to build this superhero called Batman. Of course, because he's afraid of bats, he's using Batman as a way to overcome his fear of bats. Anyways, and the whole movie is really about fear. There's a lot of fear in this movie. So he becomes Batman, fights crime, fights the mob that's kind of runs the city basically, and there's a lot of dirty cops in the city. Really no good cops except for one, which is Jim Gordon, played by Gary Oldman. But so he starts fighting crime. He fits kind of the Batman suit through like the military type, suits that protect him, and also the of course black because he was kind of this ninja, and of course it makes it harder to see him at night. And of course he adds a cape because it helps him glide if he's jumping from building to building. So he gets all the Batman things, and he gets this vehicle called the Rumbler, and helps him kind of escape situations. Anyway, so he becomes Batman, fights crime, finds out that there's a psychiatrist that kind of works with the insane asylum and criminally insane, and he's kind of heading a gang that is putting this gas into the water system, and then they have this device that will make the gas go up, and everybody in Gotham will start hallucinating because the gas makes you see scary things like spiders or bats or whatever your snakes, whatever you're afraid of, you'll see. So it's kind of torturous because you're just in total fear when you're in this gas hits you. So they're gonna do that to all of Gotham and kind of destroy them. And then they're just gonna like kill each other, I guess. Anyways, so Batman uh, finds out he needs to come with a cure for it and needs to find a way to stop it from happening. or he doesn't even know exactly when it's going to happen, but he needs to figure a way to stop it. Turns out that Ducard uh, is actually Ra's al Ghul, and comes back, and he's heading the Ra's al Ghul gang, whatever, ninja gang, and then they start sealing off the city Gotham. They're going to destroy it, and he has to save Gotham from Ducard. Anyways, that's probably maybe more than you need to know, but that's the synopsis of the movie. Um, my background with this movie is, of course, I've been a Batman fan since I was a kid. I used to watch the old '60s Batman movies or TV show slash, and then there's a movie with Adam West as Batman. Big fan of that as a kid, actually. Really enjoyed that series. It's a little goofy now if you watch it, but it was real fun. And then Batman came out in 1989, Tim Burton with Michael Keaton as the Batman, and that was really a huge movie. Of course, I was young, I couldn't see it at the movie theater, but I caught it on TV, of course, and I loved it. Of course, loved the Joker, Jack Nicholson's the Joker. And then Batman Returns, I remember that coming out in theater. I didn't see it in theaters, again, saw it on TV, but I thought that I think I like Batman better than Batman Returns. It's really dark. Of course, Tim Burton's a really dark director. His style is very dark. I don't know. I'm not a big Tim Burton fan, but it's very kind of gritty at the time. But yeah, those were like the first two, and then Joel Schumacher took over the series, did the third Batman called Batman Forever, a new Batman with Val Kilmer, and I believe I saw that at the movie theater because I remember I was a big fan of Jim Carrey at the time, so I really wanted to see Jim Carrey as the Riddler, and the Riddler is a great character, and so I remember wanting to see that mostly because of Jim Carrey, but remember seeing that. Then Batman Robin, saw that in the movie theater. I thought it was good at the time. Obviously now it's one of the worst movies ever made. George Clooney is Batman. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. Terrible performance. At the time I thought it was good, but yeah, that's a terrible movie. Schumacher movies, those two are considered like the worst of the series for sure, which is understandable. It's a little too stylish, too cartoonish, for sure. But that was the Batmans I grew up on. Big fan of all those. I used to watch the Batman animated series as a kid growing up and as a junior high, and I guess middle schooler. Loved the Batman animated series. That's where I kind of learned all of the Batman villains really through that more than anything else. Yeah, and I read a couple Batman comics. Not a big comic fan, but I did read some Batman comics. He was definitely one of my favorite superhero characters growing up. Maybe my favorite. Always enjoyed Batman. Everybody did. I think that's probably everybody's favorite. So yeah, coming into this movie, then I was kind of a little excited. I don't know if I was super excited, but it was probably a good idea to reboot the series because the last Schumacher movies were so terrible. But I remember I was going to the movie theater with my dad, and I actually went to the movie theater to see a different movie. I went to go see Cinderella Man, which was this movie with Russell Crowe, Renee Zellweger, Paul Giamatti, where he played a real character, a boxer back in the Depression era, and he had to stop boxing, and then he was having trouble finding, of course, a job and providing for his family, and then he ends up getting back into boxing and ends up at the end becoming like the world champion. It's very it's supposed to be this very uplifting movie. Of course, Russell Crowe was like top notch at that point, and so I really wanted to see Cinderella Man because I was a huge Russell Crowe fan at the time. And so I really wanted, and I told Dad, we gotta go see Cinderella Man. It's gonna be an Oscar winner, probably win Best Picture, Best Actor, all these things. It ended up only being nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Paul Giamatti, so it really didn't turn out to be. I don't know if it was Ron Howard maybe directed that movie, but it turned out not to be as good as what I thought it looked like it was going to be. But I really wanted to go see it at the time, anyways. So I looked on the internet, said, all right, I think, and I said, all right, here's the time it's coming out. Let's go see it. And I must have got it wrong because we got to the movie theater and Cinderella Man was not playing at that time that I told my dad. So I evidently read it wrong, and we got there and it's like, oh no, Cinderella Man's not on. So disappointed at the time because I was like, oh man, I was kind of embarrassed that I totally messed up the time for Cinderella Man. So then we were there, so we're like, well, let's watch another movie. And Batman Begins was going to be playing, so I said, well, Batman Begins is a movie I wouldn't mind seeing. So I was like, let's go watch Batman Begins, And so watching it really was way better than, I was kind of disappointed not seeing Cinderella Man, but Batman ended up being a better movie, so I ended up accidentally watching the better movie of the two. And it really kind of surprised me. It was much better than I was actually even expecting. and had a really good time with it. Um, anyway, so that's kind of my background with this movie. Um, just to touch on Batman, this is the first of like the trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, and I don't own the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Rises, or I think it's called second, third movie in this trilogy. I do not own on Blu-ray. I'm not a fan of those movies. It's funny. I really like Batman Begins. Even I would say this is my favorite Batman movie of all time. I think it's really well done. I'm not crazy about the second, third one. It's just too over the top, I guess. Uh, Even though Heath Ledger's great as the Joker, I mean, totally deserved an Oscar for that performance. So good. But I don't know, the character was just so almost too good of a character. He just everything he did was perfect. He's able to bomb a hospital, put bombs on ships. I don't know how he's able to do all these things. Um, he pulls out a bazooka at one point. Like, where did he get bazooka? He gets captured, and then they only put one guard to. They just have one guard, and he's not. I don't know if he's handcuffed. Maybe he is, but he's sitting in a chair, and they have one guard guarding him, the most dangerous criminal of all time. And of course, he gets away. It's just so stupid. Some of the decisions are made. And then the whole Dent becoming Two-Face at the end, I didn't care for because, like, we already have the Joker. We didn't need another villain. And so I thought they shoehorned the Two-Face character in. And the fact that he's helping the Joker who killed his fiance doesn't make sense. And I hate that they killed the fiance. I mean, I hate love interest being killed. I like seeing the good guy get together with his girlfriend or the girl he has a crush on. So that really turned me off. That Rachel dies in the movie. Spoiler alert. So yeah, there's just a combination of things that I just don't like the Dark Knight. And the Dark Knight Rises is, I think, yeah, just kind of stupid movie. Bane with his voice, "Come out of the shadows." He has like sounds like Sean Connery or something. I thought that was all stupid, and just the whole Al Ghul's daughter plotline was stupid. I didn't care for it at all, and I just would rather they had Rachel's keep on as a love interest. So they had to try to find another love interest with Catwoman, and yeah, I don't know, just not a fan of the other two, which is surprising. Everybody loves Dark Knight. Dark Knight is considered everybody's favorite, like Batman movie, favorite superhero movie. Made tons of money in the box office, but I'm just one of those weird ones that doesn't like the Dark Knight. I have to admit, I'm the one that's weird in that situation, but that's the way it is. Anyway, so just say this is my favorite of the Batman series, and the only one I'm going to really talk about in detail. So I'm going to talk about how this one holds up, and of course, still holds up really well. Watching it recently, of course, nominated for Best Cinematography. Yeah, directed very well, shot very well. Performances are very good. Christian Bale, I think, is the best Batman we ever had. He has the physical. I mean, he got really into the physical role, got in great shape for it. Also, he's a great actor. He's probably the greatest, one of the top 5, I would say, greatest actors working today, Christian Bale. So what a great get for him for Batman. He does such a great job. And then everybody, like I named all those people that are in the movie. 4 Oscar winners, I think, in there. Other nominated actors in there. Just a really great cast, I think, throughout. And it's just one of the best. I would say this is the best origin story I've ever seen of a character. They do such a good job of building the character, like of starting at present time, and then you have flashbacks to his past that kind of explains his backstory. They do such a good job. I think it's edited very well and told. The pace is very good, and it's just the story is just told very well. I like how they do that, and just everything about Batman explained so perfectly. Like, why is he Batman? Well, he trained as this ninja. Okay, that makes sense. That's why he can fight so well, and he's good at sneaking in the dark, and then all his gadgets. Well, that's explained because he's a billionaire. Has this billionaire Wayne Enterprises company that has gadgets that he can take from the company and kind of modify it for his, Batman suit. Anyway, so that makes sense. The cape for gliding. Everything about Batman is kind of explained it makes all sense. Even the bat signal, he puts a Falcone, the mob boss, on a spotlight, and Jim Gordon sees it in the sky, and that comes up with the bat signal. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. Everything explains really why Batman is who he is. And that's not always easy to do, and I think they did a good job. Origin stories can be very boring, and they made a very good, exciting origin story. I think it should be commended for sure. So yeah, definitely, it's a movie I you can watch today and just as entertaining. Uh, Works just as well. Favorite scene of this movie? Um, can't say there's really a favorite scene. Obviously, him training to become Batman is great. I like all that. Um, any action scene is very well done. The very last action scene is very good. Um, Maybe my favorite scene. It has to be probably that last action scene where he has to come in and save Gotham and duel with Deckard. At the end, the guy that trained him. Uh, and Gordon gets a shot. Gets to be in the tumbler and has to drive it to destroy the pillars that hold the train. So everybody has a good moments in there. But yeah, a lot of good action sequences and yeah. Favorite performance, even though I said Christian Bale, very good as Batman. The performance I really think about in this movie is Cillian Murphy as Dr. Crane slash Scarecrow. Scarecrow is such a great character, one of my favorite villain characters because he's pretty crazy and he hits you with gas that makes you see scary things, and he wears this Scarecrow mask, so he looks kind of scary. It's very one of the best Batman villains, and so it's so fun to see. First time we've seen Scarecrow on the big screen, and so that was fun to see them do the Scarecrow character slash Dr. Crane. And Cillian Murphy just knocks it out of the park because he has to be a little crazy, and Cillian Murphy really looks kind of a little crazy, in the way he acts and the way he talks. Um, and he has just a good look, I guess, for a crazy person. But I've never seen Cillian Murphy in a movie before until I saw this, and then after this, I see him in a movie, and I say, "Oh, Cillian Murphy, he's a good actor. He's in this movie. I might see it because I like Cillian Murphy." So he did that to me, where I'm like, I really made me a fan of Cillian Murphy. Mostly I see him in Christopher Nolan movies. He likes to use them a lot, and a great name too, Cillian Murphy. Really great name. Um, but yeah, I love how he says his lines in this movie. Like one favorite scene of his, kind of you see it in the trailer, I think, as Batman comes in as he's showing Rachel, or I think he hits Rachel with the gas, and then Batman's coming in to save the day, and they're like, what's that, and he looks up and he says, "It's the Bat Man," and he says it like with such kind of over top, villainous voice. But it works for that character. Yeah, kind of have to be a little over the top, and he totally nails it. And I don't know, Cillian Murphy's a really good bad. Anytime I see him, he's a bad man. He's a bad guy. He does really good with bad guy characters. So, anyways, but yeah, I think he was the standout performance for me in this movie. So talking about the Blu-ray itself, it's got lots of special features. Very well worth the Blu-ray, I think. Has one of my favorite things. Instead of an audio commentary, it has an in-movie experience, which is you watch the movie and then they'll pause the movie, and then they'll go to a special feature basically about that scene that you just watched, and they'll show you like how they shot the scene maybe, or interview somebody like Christian Bale, the director, about that scene. Anyways, and so it kind of just stops the movie as you're watching it to show you like how they did that. Anyways, and I love that. I know some people maybe don't like the movie being stopped, but I'm kind of one of these weird people that I love audio commentaries. I love these kind of in the movie experiences where they show you behind the scenes of what happens. I love looking at behind the scenes, and so you learn a lot about how the movie's made and all that. So it has that in it. It's really fun to watch. Has a making of a movie, kind of how they made the movie, how they casted it, how they came up with the story ideas. Christian Bale, for instance, when they casted him, he felt like he needed to buff up, and so he put almost too much weight on for the role because he felt like he needed to get bigger, because he hadn't done a role like this before, and so he kind of got too big, and they had told him to scale it down. That they wanted him in good shape, but he ate too much and made himself not fat, but just made him more bulky, and so they want him with less bulk. So that was kind of interesting. And even they talked about the fighting style. Batman has his own fighting style. They kind of almost they had a fight choreographer there that kind of came up with this fighting style where it's like, I can't explain it as good as if you watch the special feature. It kind of explains how Batman just uses, what move can I take a guy down the fastest with, and that's the move he's going to do, whatever that is. And so I don't know, it's funny. It's almost like this whole new style that they invent just for the Batman character, which was kind of interesting for the movie, which I didn't realize watching it until you watch the special features. But there's stuff on how they design all the sets, like the Batcave and the Manor, how they design the Batsuit. If you watch the original Batman, or not original, yeah, original Batman in 1989 with Michael Keaton, every time he can't move his head. So anytime he moves, he has to go like this, and like he has to look up. He goes like that. He puts his head way back because he can't move his neck at all. And it's just kind of funny if you watch the 1989 Batman. It's all kind of goofy because the way they did the Batsuit. Anyways, and there's been a lot of talks about the different Batsuits and how they're designed. So anyway, so it's interesting to talk about the Batsuit, talking about miniatures, talking about filming in Iceland for some scenes. And they just talk about the Batman, the backstory for Batman, and they interview David Goyer, who co-wrote the script, and kind of his ideas. They go over special effects and stunt work. I mean, it's just packed full of special features, which I love. That's why I buy Blu-rays, is to see how they made the movie, the behind the scenes information. I just love that. Anyway, so very good Blu-ray, I think, overall. Anyway, so my rating overall for this movie is I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 stars, which means it's a strong recommend. One of my favorite superhero movies, my favorite Batman movie. I can't recommend it stronger, almost as strong as it can get. I usually don't get 5 stars for superhero movies, so 4 is about the best I usually give, except for the really, really, really good ones. But anyway, so yeah, so really recommend if you haven't seen it. Try it out. I'm sure you've seen it. But if you have, comment, tell me what you think. Is Dark Knight your favorite Batman? How do you think this Batman is? Of course, there's a new Batman coming out pretty soon too with Robert Pattinson. So give me your opinion on what you think of Batman overall. Love to hear any comments about this. And yeah, so just thank you for subscribing and watching this video and liking it. And I appreciate you all.